these are this afternoon's top stories. Taiwan partners with St. Kitts and Nevis in crime fighting. Guyana's Education Ministry works to make education more accessible. And more deaths as Israeli-Palestinian clashes rage unabated. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, October 13th. 2015. I am JD Keynes. In national news, the government of the Republic of China on Taiwan has once again demonstrated its solidarity with the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis with the donation of 2 checks, one to aid anti-criminal activities and the other to mitigate disasters due to climate change. As the checks were handed over on Monday to our Federation's Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris at government headquarters, he assured Ambassador Shu that the donation will help crime fighting in the Federation.
The contribution is in support of our crime fighting activities, and in particular to strengthen the capacity and the capability of the police to deliver law and order. We have always made it clear that when it comes to the maintenance of law and order, when it comes to the preservation of the criminal justice system, this Team Unity government will spare no efforts and we will leave no stone unturned. We will go all the way for the peace and safety of our country.
His Excellency George Gerwei Shu, Taiwan's resident ambassador, praised Prime Minister Harris and his government's efforts in combating crime.
As St. Kitts and Nevis work strenuously to secure safety and security for her citizens, Taiwan has been lockstep with the Federation in the endeavor. In response to the Honorable Prime Minister's determination, the government of the Republic of China on Taiwan is glad to extend our continuous support to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are pleased with the way of the 6-point plans is unfolding and effectively implemented. The security infrastructure has been bolstered with the new equipment being introduced to police.
With respect to climate change, Prime Minister Harris said Taiwan has been helpful in sponsoring participation in a number of events, and as such made an appeal to the international community at the United Nations for Taiwan's inclusion in that body.
At the recently concluded United Nations meeting, I did make a special plea for the international community to ensure that Taiwan is included in the conversations, in the international discourse relating to climate change and alternative energy issues. Again, I want to say a special thanks to you, Ambassador, for the generosity of your country in acknowledging in our areas of need that we can count on you as a friend and a resourceful partner.
The first check, worth more than EC $800,000, is earmarked to aid anti-criminal activities, while the second check of more than EC $19,000 is to mitigate disasters due to climate change. Members of the Police High Command, Acting Commissioner Stafford Liebert and Assistant Commissioners of Police Ian Quealy and Vaughan Henderson, together with the country's Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, were among those who attended Monday night's town hall of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. Held at the Keon Community Center, the town hall started off with remarks by COP Liebert, who gave an overview of the force's 6-point plan of action that was launched earlier this year. He said one of their approaches to crime prevention is to ensure that police officers are properly trained.
But whatever we do, the foremost and first is crime prevention. And whatever we are doing, our intention is to prevent crime. But we recognize we cannot stop crime, and that is why a great deal of effort is being spent on training.
He made special mention of detectives and prosecutors who he said are being trained to pay greater attention to detail. ACP Quealy took a different approach in his remarks when he shared the negative impact that crime and violence can have on the local community.
We have, over the past few years, gravitated from an agricultural-based economy to one of services and tourism. The stakes are high in tourism. A number of Caribbean countries are competing for a piece of the same pie. Our product is unique. and our product is good. Any investor who is going to invest in our country, one of the first things that investor looks for is security and safety. And if there's no safety and security, that investor confidence is somewhat shattered.
Stay tuned to ZIZ Radio and Television for more from that town hall in Keyon. The names of the victims injured in Sunday's shooting at Buckley's estate have been revealed. On Tuesday morning, the police force issued a release naming 37-year-old Devon Jeffers, a.k.a. Coxman of Trafalgar Village, 30-year-old Rodney Clark, a.k.a. Starboy of Greenlands, and 46-year-old Valentine Benjamin, a.k.a. Zebra, of Buckley's estate as the victims. According to the release, an unknown assailant appeared and opened fire on the victims while they were engaged in a card game. Clark reportedly received gunshot injuries to the right side of his hip. Jeffers' gunshot injuries were to his left hand and his right foot, and Benjamin received gunshot injuries to his lower right leg. We'll take a break and be right back.
A lot of people think that fast bikes are cool, and the girls sure like the guys who ride them. But like so many things about life, you gotta be careful. Having sex without a condom is like riding a bike without a helmet. It's just plain dumb. It's okay to have fun as long as you're smart about it. My name is Daniel the Lion Fortress, and I'm different, and I'm making a difference.
Live up, love, protect, respect.
Regionally, Guyana's Education Ministry is finding ways to make education delivery accessible to all students, including those who are differently abled. Ivor Wharton has the details.
Children living with disabilities will not be left behind in the education system, according to Education Minister Dr. Rupert Rupnarayan. Speaking at a rally last Friday to mark the end of Education Month, the Education Minister said the aim of the education system is to serve each and every student, as he made particular reference to children faced with several personal challenges to learning.
More often than we acknowledge, sometimes those we consider the least among us, by virtue of their courage and the sheer intensity of their personal struggle, are in fact the greatest among us. And as a society, we owe them the best opportunity we can create.
Minister Rupnarayan said special needs education remains the most significant indicator of overall education development because of the challenges associated with it.
Once it is we can confidently say that we as a society have significantly created a system that satisfies our special education needs, the likelihood is that the rest of the education system would have been improved to a satisfactory level as well.
The Education Minister said education should be used as a tool to cultivate in children two qualities which are integral to our survival as a people: respect for others and respect for the environment. Education Month was observed under the theme Improving Schools from Within. Reporting for Capital News, Ivor Wharton.
Members of St. Lucia's National Competitiveness and Productivity Council hosted a fair for primary school students as the second annual Productivity Awareness Week kicks off. Students gathered at the VG Sports Complex to learn about the importance of productivity in school and how it can translate into their adult life.
The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, together with the Government of St. Lucia, is hosting the second annual Productivity Awareness Week. During this week, the Council has set a mandate to build awareness and provide training and mentorship to provide tools to entrepreneurs that will allow for the advancement of productivity and competitiveness, and to inculcate a mindset change as it pertains to productivity. To kick off Productivity Awareness Week, the Council hosted a primary school's productivity fair at the VG Sports Complex.
What we find is that by educating people from a very young age, they will carry on those practices as they get older. So what we want is the youth to start these productive habits now, so that as they grow and they blossom, they become productive adults in society.
Public Relations Manager of the St. Lucia Teachers Union, Sherilyn Anderson, commended the Productivity Council's decision to target primary school students. She says some students can be easily distracted, and instilling the importance of time management, dedication and focus will lead to high productivity levels in school that will lead to students becoming more productive in their adult life.
In our thrust for building sustainable societies, we need to ensure that persons are productive in their workplaces. But as it translates to the schools, we need to ensure that from the beginning, we put into our students, we instill in them a level of productivity so that when they do become workers out there, they can carry it with them to their workplaces. So this morning, I'm going to be making a presentation on productivity to the students as to how they can be more productive in class to produce not only more work, but better quality work.
The week will continue with a productivity session with the Minibus Association on Tuesday, followed by a productivity showcase, which will be aired on Helen Television System, and a young entrepreneur business mixer on Friday evening at the Blue Coral Mall.
Internationally, at least 3 Palestinians have been killed and 2 Israelis critically wounded as violence continues in occupied territories. Andrew Simons reports from West Jerusalem.
This is the ugly reality of what's happening here. A young Palestinian in agony, shot by police who say he's just been part of a random stabbing attack on 2 young Israelis. In the background, a crowd goading on the police. One man is shouting, "Shoot him in the head." The teenager is in hospital with serious injuries, along with the 2 Israeli victims. Police say they shot dead his accomplice, another Palestinian teenager. This is one of a trail of knife attacks and police shootings. Monday was one of the darkest days in occupied East Jerusalem since this crisis began. It started with a 17-year-old man shot dead. Police say he tried to stab a border policeman. Later, another 17-year-old, a schoolgirl, is shot and injured. Police say she stabbed an officer. Israel's Prime Minister called it all knife terror when he addressed the Knesset back from summer recess. He said tougher measures against offenders, including minimum jail sentences for stone throwers, will be part of the fight back.
We are fighting on all the fronts. We have added forces and border police in Jerusalem and all over the country. We are taking responsibility on ourselves, destroying terrorists' houses. We are wiping out the people who are against us and the Islamic movement. We are fighting against the Molotov cocktails and the stones and taking revenge for the people who have been killed. I expect the support of the opposition party in these actions and also in establishing the law against this wave of terror.
Israel's opposition, while agreeing tough action is needed, accused Netanyahu of failing to take control. As the politicians debated their next moves, came another attack. This time, police say a Palestinian stabbed and wounded a soldier on a bus in West Jerusalem. According to the police, he tried to get the soldier's gun, and civilians grappled with him. The bus stopped, and police boarded it, opening fire and killing the Palestinian.
There's a deep-set fear that pervades every street here. This isn't about suicide attackers or car bombs. It could be anybody with a grudge at short notice, pulling a knife, crude, random violence.
And there's another fear, one that's just as deep-set. As these attacks continue, questions over the tougher measures police are using increase. Palestinian leaders believe the police are using summary justice, killing before considering any alternatives. No one's sure how or when this cycle of violence will end. Andrew Simmons, Al Jazeera, West Jerusalem.
Today, Dutch investigators published their report into what caused Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 to crash in eastern Ukraine last year.
Flight MH17 crashed as a result of the detonation of a warhead outside the aeroplane, above the left-hand side of the cockpit. This warhead was of the 9N314M type, carried on the kind of missile that is installed on the Buk surface-to-air missile system. As a result of the detonation, the forward part of the airplane was torn off. The airplane broke up in the air. The wreckage came down in an area of about 50 kilometers in the eastern part of Ukraine. The missile was launched from a 320 square kilometer area in the eastern part of Ukraine.
The plane was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, and almost 300 people died when it went down near the village of Grabov. Taking a look at the weather, temperatures today will reach a high of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Skies will be sunny to partly sunny with isolated brief showers. Tonight, skies will be partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers. Sunset for today can be expected at 5:51 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:03 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. I have been your presenter, JD Keynes. Have a great afternoon.